allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Trustee Fulmer? Here. Mayor Jarvis? Here. Trustee Dorigo?
Here.
Trustee Straw?
Here.
This special meeting, Village of Alexandria Bay, Thursday, March 24th, 2022, 1:30, actually it's 1:45 p.m. New business is for the clerk to present tentative budget to the Village of Alexandria Bay Board of Trustees.
Here's your budget for the year, the tentative budget. I am filing with the board. As we've been working with our accounting firm, there is no changes since our last budget meeting. Everything stands as it was. So, and I will have copies in the office for the public to review.
So we have presented to the board, and then the next step is, do we have time for the public to, or is there a grace period that we have to follow?
We set a public hearing for our next regular scheduled meeting, the 14th of April at 5:30. What's that date?
I think it's the 12th.
12th of April.
April 12th is
April
Tuesday,
12th.
second Tuesday.
April 12th, it would be at 5:30 p.m. to present the budget to the general public and to possibly adopt the budget that evening.
And right now we have for a budget increase over last year is, if I'm correct, 1.4%, correct?
Yes. And there's a breakdown on the very last, a tax cap calculations are on the back page, but at this point it's a 0.14% increase. Tax rate 10.607724.
So we're all set with the tax cap, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Anybody okay with that?
Make a motion to set a public hearing, please.
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing to present the budget to the public on April 12th at 5:30 p.m.
I'll second.
Motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee Dorigo to present the budget to the public April 12th at 5:30 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
I think I'm okay. Second, I would like.
Second on new business is interpret how late fees should be handled for the COVID-19 moratorium.
During the moratorium from New York, the governor, they made it so the village set notices on all water bills to notify people if they had hardships, to call the village office to make arrangements for waiving their payments and helping find a solution for their payments, to make payments to the Village of Alexandria Bay.
There was also a deferred payment agreement that people could enter if they had contacted us about that during that moratorium time.
This time I'm just asking for the village's interpretation of how late fees should be handled. The Village of Alexandria Bay had no one who reached out to the village, and we still interpreted fees. At this time, I'd like to ask the village board what their thoughts are on leaving the situation as is, or if we'd like to interpret it different. Judy, you want to explain how we
Yeah.
spoke yesterday?
Is that the paper that
I'm
has
sorry, I'm
the-
coughing, yes.
Okay, yesterday we spoke with our attorney, NICOM, and, we attempted to talk to the Attorney General's office, but they didn't. Where we got our information in the morning was the best. As of June 17th of 2020, Cuomo said that you could not charge, residential customers, fees, and you couldn't shut them off. As of June 5th, 21, he started that also for small business customers. So what we did with our billing during that time, it had a notice on it that said if you're having problems due to, I forget exactly what it said, the bill. But if you have payment concerns or problems or issues, basically give us a call and we'll see if we can help you. The moratorium on that ended December 31st. So the question, as we talked to Burroughs and NICOM yesterday, was because no one during that moratorium, either residential or commercial, contacted us and said, we need help paying our bills. We, put us on a plan, do whatever, waive fees. Nobody reached out to us at all. So the decision has to be made. Because nobody responded, we feel, Molly and I, that the late fees that were added should be left on. So the question is, should they be left on or should they be refunded? And our thinking is because no one, and these are the questions we asked NICOM and Mr. Burroughs. NICOM agreed with Molly and I, leave the fees on.
Our accounting firm agrees with us.
Yes, Tina agrees with us. After a protracted answer, I think Mr. Burroughs basically said I really don't know what he said. He thought maybe we should take some of them off, but nobody
Has contacted the
Nobody
village
has
to say, I'm having a problem.
Right, and the time has passed to do that. So she has two things, and we also asked about taking water bills, and there's like 15 that have to be sent to the county to re-levy. So what she's going to do, and we discussed this again with both of them yesterday, we have to send a regular letter that she has a form letter saying, hey, your water bills weren't paid, and most of these go back into 20 and 21. Your water bills weren't paid, you have 2 weeks to pay them, you have until April 8th. On April 9th, we are sending you over to the county to re-levy on your taxes. On April 9th, we will, is that a Friday?
No, 8th is Friday, so it'd be the following week at the beginning of the week.
Okay, so
Water goes off.
water goes off on
It's
Monday.
been 2 years.
Yeah,
in
and
most cases.
Monday it also gets re-levied to the county.
Correct.
If they don't reach out and contact us. We also need to fix our verbiage because we can then, the $65 fee to turn the water back on once we turn it off, and they also have to now give us a deposit, which is the largest water bill that they had in 3 years.
The last 3 years. And that is on our local laws.
That's in our local laws.
That is how our water laws stand today. Sorry, go ahead.
The only thing I was going to say about the security deposit, or the deposits that we're going to get, we have to look at our local law, how the verbiage is there, because the local law is there for the deposit so that you don't get to this point again and to hope that people pay their bills. If you have to pay a deposit to National Grid, you don't get to pay, say you have to pay a $2,000 deposit. When your next bill comes due from National Grid, you don't get to apply that to your deposit. They hold your deposit for a certain amount of time until you become a regular paying customer. And then at some point, they'll say, you'll get a letter and they'll say, okay, fine, you've now been a regular paying customer for 2 years. You can start using your deposit and they will then subtract it from your bill. the way we think we interpret our bills is that they have to pay a deposit, but once their old balance, which can be substantial, gets put on their tax bill, the next bill they have, after they pay their deposit, they can start eating into the deposit already to pay their bill. So then, and the problem becomes most of these are habitual late payers. So we may have to change that at a certain point, but the question.
So that we hold the deposit until they become a regular paying
Yes.
customer
And that's-
to the water department.
Right, and Borough said that's just changing a few words on our thing. But the question for today is, do we or do we not, do the late fees? And the late fees, like I said, most of them, I think at least half of them are back into 2020.
And the total owed to the village with the 15 customers.
Total bill right now?
Total
We
bill.
have an outstanding amount of $16,115.45 that will go back to the tax, on the taxes, and the village will become whole, and that goes on their next year's taxes.
So a regular letter has to go to these people and a certified letter.
I was gonna say, a
Tomorrow.
regular letter
It's
and
tomorrow.
a certified.
Yes, it has to be.
So
So
that,
the big question is, do we, leave bills on, or fees on?
leave the
Because
late fees,
nobody reached out for help. None of these people, nobody reached out for assistance under the moratorium or anything.
so are you making a motion that we leave the late fees on
Yeah.
with the charges and proceed with the legal steps, with the letters, certified letters? The 2 weeks' notice to shut off, passing it to the
Jefferson County Real.
Jefferson County the taxes, and proceed at that step.
Yes, did you get all that?
That's your motion.
I'll second it.
That's my motion.
Motion by trustee Fulmer, second by trustee DeRigo, with Rachel said.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna do
Roll call vote.
roll call vote, yes.
Trustee Fulmer?
Yes.
Mayor Jarvis?
Yes.
Trustee DeRigo?
Yes.
Trustee Strauss?
Yes.
And there's one more thing, please.
Me? So, I've been hashing this out a little bit, and I think everybody knows pretty much what I'm gonna say here, is that Tim's been up to the golf course, he's been out there for, this will be his 3rd year now. There is a recreation supervisor position. I will tell you guys that he's been out of class for the 2-3 years. So what I would like to do is, so I've got the numbers. So if we did this in June, it would be a $4,160 increase with just the $2 an hour raise that he would bump up to. But because it's a 50-cent raise year, so it's a $2.50 raise, it's a $5,200 raise for the year for him to run the golf course. Now, again, I think that he deserves it. He's doing good. He's gonna be up there with all new people this year. We don't have Sean coming back. We don't have Bud there 40 hours this year. And I just think that, and I think without even changing the budget, I think there's enough cushion for overtime or whatever to compensate for that number. I just didn't know how everybody felt about this.
Didn't we talk to Tina a little bit about that yesterday?
Can I ask one question? Would he be there a supervisor year-round, or would he work seasonal 6 months and then 6 months for
Well,
you?
it would be year-round, because then when he goes up there during the winter and he's getting the gangs done, he's doing this, like he's been doing, how would you, it'd be a nightmare to
Okay.
differentiate the times.
I have to say, having been up there quite a bit last summer and seeing what Tim and Sean have done, pulling equipment, taking care of it better than previous employees, and really stepping up to it, he does deserve it.
Oh, he'd be up there full-time. Not, years ago, this is Gary Rogers, didn't he work year-round up there to go up at?
Well, because you gotta
How was
understand,
that? Yeah,
once the year ends, it just doesn't end, is the problem.
right.
So I would share them down to the barn, but once that's done, there's been always 3 people up there tearing gangs down, you know, sharpening our own equipment, servicing the equipment, so when it comes springtime, we're back out and running.
Right.
You know, and that was me, Bruce, and Gary that did that full time, you know.
And then in the full winter time, you went to the ice
Went to
arena
the ice
back then.
Right?
So, they did the golf course, it late into this fall doing,
Then after
The
the golf,
maintenance-
after we lost the ice rink, then didn't Gary just stay up there, did he out down the?
No, because he come down to the barn.
Okay,
He came down to the barn.
so
He
he's
helped
gonna
out.
go, he's gonna work up there and then he's work down the barn.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So
it's
if he
gonna be
needs to
full-time.
plow,
yeah.
if he needs to plow, he could jump in the plow and plow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I
Yes.
got it, yeah.
I just, he's gonna, I'll still share him, but just give him that title, because on the days that he's still, like, all winter he's gone up there, and, you know, we didn't send the gangs, well, this is gonna save you right here, because we spent $4,000 sending a set of gangs over to Hunter Horton for 1 year. And Tim did it this winter up there for me, you know, so,
versus sending it out.
versus sending it out.
It's a lot of the golf carts, the maintenance that him and Sean have done,
Yeah,
with the new tire machine, instead of sending them out, that's another savings that we'll be doing.
So we need a motion, if someone would.
I'll make a motion that we move Tim to rec supervisor.
in June,
Yep, and this coming
June
budget.
1st,
Yep.
22, okay.
I'll second
Motion
it.
made by trustee Strauss, second by trustee DeRigo, for the promotion Tim Trayer to rec supervisor.
so just one thing that he has done, on number 1, green, we have roots that are growing in the backside of it, it's pulling the moisture, so you can never grow grass. So what Tim did last year was he set a spot up on the golf course and he planted the grass for a green in one spot. So this year he was gonna cultivate it, take the root system out of the back of the green, and he will have turf literally put back on the back of that green growing already.
Cool.
Those are the things that he's done without being asked, and
And that grass up on the backside, it's perfect.
yeah,
It's, you know, he took it upon himself to say, we could grow our own grass for replacement.
yeah. He was up there with a push reel mower mowing it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
man.
I think he's a good guy.
So, anyways, I don't have to sell them, I'm just saying. I
So
think
motion
he
by
deserves it.
trustee Strauss, second by trustee DeRigo for the promotion of Tim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, guys.
Just adjourn. I'm
Adjourn.
open.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
I'll second it.
Trustee DeRigo, second by trustee Stroud, to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
2:05.
Time is 2:04.